Good morning and welcome. This is an important day for our city and for the redevelopment of the historic gas plant district, the home of Tropicana Field. It's also an important opportunity, I believe, to bring certainty to the future of the Rays in St. Petersburg. We stand today at 5th Avenue South and 16th Street. And as many of you know, 50 years ago, my grandfather owned a business just behind me at 488 16th Street South. It was a wood yard, and this is his axe handle. I know many of you were concerned when I walked up with this, but it's just a tangible, physical reminder of a community that existed and thrived in the gas plant area. I think it's providential that 40 years after a community was uprooted in the successful pursuit of baseball, we now have the opportunity to bring the promises of jobs and equitable development to fruition on what I believe, and I think many people believe, to be sacred land. As a county commissioner, I was fully engaged in the current RFP process, attending meetings and presentations, speaking with the Kreisman administration and prospective development groups in my role as the county commissioner whose district was based in St. Petersburg. I'm impressed with the efforts from the two finalists in the current RFP process, Midtown Development and Sugar Hill Community Partners. They have listened to our community and have responded with their vision of development on these 86 acres in accordance with our community needs in terms of housing, office space, meeting space, green space, and impactful economic development. There's also been robust community engagement in developing a vision for this generational project. However, our environment has changed in many ways since the initial RFP was issued in July of 2020. And we must ensure that the RFP meets our current environment and realities and incorporates the most up-to-date information. The pandemic has changed the way we work and has affected the potential need for office space. The cost of rental housing and home ownership has skyrocketed, bringing a higher priority to the need for affordable and workforce housing, both on this site and off-site. Supply chain and labor issues are impacting the cost of capital projects. The need for intentional equity and equitable development is highlighted by results from the city's disparity study and the structural racism report completed after the issuance of the RFP. And the community's desire for equity is reflected in the community benefits model adopted by City Council last year and being implemented right now. There have been many positive developments. My administration has focused on building relationships with our key partners, including City Council, Pinellas County, the community, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Significant progress is being made with our partners towards developing the right model for the historic gas plant area redevelopment, focused on inclusive progress for our entire city. One of the main questions is the Rays' involvement in the development process. And the director, we're on the main corridor, so we'll just work with it. One of our main questions is the Rays' involvement in the development process, and the directly related question of whether the development will include a stadium. As our council accurately stated last year, the question of the Rays is critical to developing the right plan for development of these 86 acres. We understand we have a true, real-time constraint with the expiration of the Rays lease in 2027, and we are very mindful of that. However, this is a generational project that has to be done right, and we can't focus solely on getting it done as quickly as possible at this point after so many years of delay and debate. The gas plant promises are more than 3 decades old, and the community has been waiting a long time for the promised benefits made with respect to the sacrifice of the gas plant community. A few more months is a relatively short time to make sure that we are choosing the right path. And I am optimistic that we will choose that right path, that path that will bring jobs, equitable and diverse business opportunities, meet our needs for housing, meeting space, and innovative economic drivers, and support a state-of-the-art home for the Rays for decades to come. In order to incorporate these new realities and build the best path for progress for our city, I believe we need a new RFP. This new RFP process will build on the current RFP, work on an expedited timeline, and better reflect our current vision, relationships, and environment. Importantly, this new RFP will guide us to certainty on the stadium issue and will give the Rays an opportunity to be a full partner in the process and give our community another opportunity to weigh in on our path forward, informed by our current realities, opportunities, and challenges. Therefore, I am terminating the current RFP process and have instructed my staff to target the release of a new RFP by mid-August with the selection of a master developer by the end of this year. Our future is bright, and I am excited that we are moving to this next phase of this journey for inclusive progress at the historic gas plant site. Thank you all for joining me this morning. I'd be happy to take a few questions.
Mayor, what is it about the two proposals that had it come down to that doesn't meet what you hope?
The question is, what is it about the two proposals that didn't meet what I might do? Again, that was July 2020. Much in our environment has changed, including a strong statement from the community on equity, with the community benefits agreement, with the structural racism study, with the disparity study. That needs to be updated. But more importantly, we feel that the community needs to be able to weigh in once again. Remember, July 2020 was mid-pandemic. We want to have community conversations again to get more community input. And as council rightly stated, the Rays Stadium question has to be answered, and the partnership with the Rays has to be rebuilt. This is the community's vision for 86 acres, and the Rays vision has to work with that. I'm very optimistic that it can. We've had very productive conversations. So we feel a new RFP is what we need to do right now to set our path straight, and we can get that done this year.
With all due respect, Urban League, other minority groups in the area had extensive conversations with the mayor, a multi-year process. What do you think you're going to hear from people waiting more months that you haven't already heard?
So we had community conversations in December before I was sworn in. More than 500 people came to USF, came online and weighed in. I don't believe we've heard from all parts of the community, given the fact that so many of the presentations were during the pandemic. Now we are in a better place in the pandemic, and I think more folks will weigh in. But again, this axe handle is about 40 years old, and it was used for a business here at the gas plant. I don't believe waiting another few months to get this right is unreasonable.
Do you expect that Midtown and Sugar Hill will participate again now that you've gone back?
They're certainly free to do that, and we hope they will.
I'm sorry?
The question was, do I expect Midtown and Sugar Hill to bid again? We hope that they will. They're certainly open to do that. This is an open RFP process, and I think there are many folks who are with the certainty of the Rays partnership and participation would be willing to bid on this RFP. Let me get another question.
How realistic is it in your mind that the Rays will want to be a part of this and will say they want to play in St. Pete versus Hillsborough County?
I think St. Pete is the best opportunity for the Rays. I've said that publicly. I've said that privately. The Rays are here today. I think that's a signal that our relationship is vastly improved. The Pinellas County is a part of this conversation. We've had ongoing meetings with them as well. When you look at what's happening in downtown St. Pete and the growth that's moving west, this is an opportunity to put the new Rays home right on the edge of a burgeoning downtown. And so I think the Rays will have interest. You'll have to ask them that question directly.
Mayor, gas plant promises. What did you hear during those meetings in December that makes you think that those promises will be different than what was presented by Q1?
So staff is working on the RFP, and we'll release details on that as it comes forward. But when you talk about the promises. The promises were for this sacrifice of moving, dislocating businesses, homes, residences. There will be business opportunities. There will be jobs. None of that happened. And so those are the primary promises that I'm thinking about. And when I look at recognizing the sacrifices of the gas plant community, it's not a plaque or a trail. It's ongoing economic support and rebuilding the community that was there and has been dispersed. And so that's the kind of detail I'd like to see.
Mayor, the raise timeline is only 2027. How does that affect the timeline?
I think we have plenty of time. It's 2022. I plan to select a developer by the end of this year. And that gives us, I think, plenty of time to work out a deal that is best for the community and best for a new Rays stadium as well.
So, Mayor, what you're saying is we're basically not going to know where the Rays are going or staying until perhaps January 2023?
I would look at it the other way, that we're 6 months away from real certainty, and we've been waiting decades to get there. I'm really optimistic about where we are. Any other questions?
Do you know where the Rays are playing by the end of this year?
I would hope that the Rays would be a partner in responding to this proposal, and there are a number of ways that they can do that. One of the problems with the other RFP is no one can say exactly where the Rays wanted to be on this 86 acres. We need certainty on where the Rays want to be, what their vision is, and how it fits into the overall vision for this 86 acres. That is what this RFP will allow us to do, as well as incorporating those other elements that I talked about, including equity, including getting more community input, and making sure that we're in line with our council, with our county commission, and the other partners.
Will the Rays have input on this RFP?
The Rays are here, so I think you'll have to ask them what their plans are, but since I took office, and really before as a county commissioner, we've always had a good relationship with the Rays. I think we can put together the best package, working with our county partners and our city council, for a Rays stadium on this site that blends into what's happening in downtown St. Pete and the overall vision of what the gas plant district redevelopment has to bring back to the community.
Is reopening the RFP process also a legal strategy to avoid any potential litigation from Midtown?
Reopening the RFP process is, in my view, the best path to get us to the right decision for our city. And all those factors I talked about are a part of that.
Mayor, I'm sorry, you already addressed this.
Yeah.
Is this ultimately back to square one?
Absolutely not. It's building on everything we've learned, but it is issuing an RFP that's based on our current realities. Our world has changed a lot in 2 years, whether it's office space, whether it's the relationship with our key partners. Those things have changed. I think we'll get folks now involved in the process from the community who weren't going to come out in 2020 and 21 in the midst of the worst of the pandemic. I think we'll get that input. And so it's about making sure we've got the right plan for where we are in 2022.
Mayor Welch,
Yeah.
have you talked to any of the businesses who are already in there? And you know, they have really exciting things in there about what they would like from a new.
In there, meaning
Like,
inside the trop.
Yes, inside the trop.
We haven't had that I haven't had that conversation personally, but love to get their input.
Yeah.
Okay.
Affordable housing, what do you think that would take? What would that look like?
I certainly think this is one of our best opportunities for affordable housing. We've always had a mixed income strategy, and so there could be a model where you have on-site and off-site housing, support for off-site affordable housing, but it just has to be in the mix. This is one of our greatest opportunities to make a significant impact on housing. As you can see from the two developers, they were widely different in terms of the amount of housing, but also how much of that housing was actually workforce or affordable housing. We've got a real crisis there, and we have to use all of our assets to try to make an impact on affordable housing.
Is there a minimum number of affordable houses?
No, no.
Mayor, you cite in this memo that rising costs and there's labor shortages, supply shortages. Do you know if the county is willing to make all that?
The county is a partner. They have limits, and one of the reasons that we do need to have this certainty is that as mayor, I have to ask the county commission to dedicate a percentage of their bed tax at $14–15 million a year. They're not going to do that if there's not certainty about where the raise are going. So the amount of the ask is going to depend on the plan itself, but we have to have our partnership in order to ask the county for that support. And the county has been part of those discussions.
And what conversations are you having with Ray so far? Are they on board with this?
They're standing right behind you. You can ask them, but we've met several times, ongoing basis, to talk about the plan for the future of the raise and how they can partner with the city. I'm optimistic. Any other questions? Thank y'all. Sorry for the delay. Appreciate y'all coming out. Thank you.